all right. I'm here. It's 7:01, so I'm late, and that's enough to cause panic from anyone here. I'm sitting on the different chair. That's going to be a big surprise revealed as soon as I click on the See Me button. Just hang on a second here. All right, let's see. Okay. Now, where is this thing? There it is. Live scene. There we go. How do you do, folks? Raymond the Amish Comic here, streaming live from our living room. It's Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. Trying to make Tuesdays suck less on Wednesday, a day late, but that's the way things are rolling here. The lovely Mrs. Comic is in the house, and she is finishing up her German lesson, so that's my fault because we usually start at 7:30, and she's oh fuck me in a bucket of goo, starting at 7. She didn't actually say that, but I think she thought it. Clee's sister is heading out for vacation. Kevin Keller, that's very much appreciated. I'm over here. There should be new adventures for Caesar running around here. It's hard to say. When I set things up for the cat, typically the cat doesn't really cooperate with whatever the heck we're doing. Richter's in the house. I have absolutely no plan on what I want to do tonight. I'm thinking I might want to tell some Ireland stories, but as always, I got cat stories. So I've got some cat stories to tell you. And I think I loaded some stuff in this week that I thought I loaded in last week, and the skunk video, I had it, that was the wrong, the file size was too big. This is kind of really boring live entertainment. And I yanked this sucker out. This is a fuck you in a bucket of goo. This was a Christmas gift from Keith Moyer's friend. And I don't know how it got buried. The things you find when you dig around things and move shit around this way and that. Caesar's staring at me right now. He's got a box down there. So if he's going to do any box holding, that's always some fun stuff. So if you're like us, Mrs. Comic and I, man, it's been crazy. There's good stuff and then there's not such good stuff. It's just we're in extreme roller coaster mode. People were saying, oh, July really whipped by. Not for us it did. Holy fuck, the July seemed like it was a whole 3 months long. So I'm going to burp. Excuse me. I got water in the glass here. Clee's sister, Susan Clee, won't be with us tonight. She's going off on a fun trip somewhere. And that's what I would do. I mean, if I could take a vacation instead of streaming, although I might pick streaming. I don't know. This isn't really actually work here per se. So this is water right now. So Richter, get all worked up. But also Richter, never fear, because Bourbon Balls is here. There we go, Bourbon Balls right there. We're going to take that easy right there. I'm also, what is exciting about this seat, I've covered this before, is when I sit in this seat, I hardly ever do, because Caesar expects to jump up here and get a licking stick, a special cat treat. So he's right there, but he's got lazy as far as coming up on my lap, because I cave into his peer pressure from a cat, and when he wants the licking stick without coming on my lap, I just give it to him. So I'm gonna see if I can get him up here. We'll start this show off with a bang and feed a cat licking stick. What do you think there? You can come up here, buddy? Or you can just stare at me. This would be funnier if I had this rigged up for you to go on camera, but I didn't. Why don't you come up here? Let's see, your plate, your licking stick plays, whatever. This is going to be so awkward. I'll do this, and then I'll put this here. This would have been a big hit if you would have come up here and lick this thing out. There he is. Are you coming up? Almost up. You're not quite in camera view, so if you could cooperate, myself and the fans would really appreciate it. Let's see, I could probably, no, I'm not going to lower that. The cat says, just give me the fucking treat. It's not my fault that you're having an issue with the height of the camera versus where the cat's head is. Are you coming up here now? I think it would be a big hit if you want to come up here. Where you gonna get live entertainment like this? This is the pinnacle of live entertainment. Alright, Caesar, you look so disappointed. There you go. Where can you see a man live streaming feeding a cat? We don't actually see him feeding the cat. For the new viewers out there, he might not even have a fucking cat. So that's the kind of entertainment you can expect, and that's why it's going to be difficult to make Tuesday suck less on Wednesday if that's going to be the quality of my show right now. Let's show you a couple things here. Undo the plug. I haven't dropped a new TikTok for a while, but if you get over on TikTok, check out the Real Amish Comic. That's me. I drop clips there every now and again. And this guy here, let's see, where the heck is he? Alright, so this guy. Okay, so this is kind of, that's our guy Caesar. Probably one of the biggest cats that there ever was. That is a cat carpet tunnel. Mrs. Comic picked it out. I was going for the bowl. She convinced me that the tunnel was the way to go, and boy, was she right about that. Caesar loves that tunnel. There's no shortage of fun games and opportunities here. He's coming back here. What's happening right now is he realizes he only got like half of this licking stick. And so he knows I got the rest. So I'm going to do this. Where did you put your plate? This is, maybe I should consider preparing things for the show instead of just winging it like this. Again, I'm feeding the cat off camera, but you couldn't really see him anyway. So there's that. Now check this out. We're right back to Caesar. That carpet tunnel is set up next to a box that he loves, which used to be my footstool. Now it's a box for the cat to play with. That seems like it's fun, but he has big claws and he's very heavy. Not heavy overweight, he's just fucking big. And so most of my week I spend playing with the cat, that tunnel and that box. So if you want to know what I'm doing with all my time, that takes up a big hunk of it right there. And let's see, I don't have any good pictures of Bearcat, but he's eating me out of house and home. He has an accomplice. Right there is this, that's a big skunk in the actual skunk video I tried to load in last week. As I said, wrong format. So Caesar's cat chips and pistoroids that come from his litter box are kept in a garbage can around the side of the house, and I take it out at night because if he sees me do it, he gets all mad, like he doesn't want me to throw his pistoroids and shit balls away. I don't know, so I gotta sneak that out. But then I have to worry about the skunk out there, and mostly the skunk is out there, but I can't see the skunk, but the skunk could see me, as it would appear then on the back Bearcat camera. So there's that, and in between all this is in that stuff, we get to visit our grandson cats, Rico and Hank. I don't have a Hank vid right now. That's Rico, that's the spaz right now. Look at that guy, he's flying like a nut. And now we have him on diet, because I guess I'm happy, that's me. I don't run him enough, so now we're running him right there. And that's really on a loop. If he ran that much, he probably wouldn't need to be on diet. So there's Rico, he's tearing it up. Let's see here, I don't think I have too much else going on here. Boo. This would be last. This is Caesar. There's a, oh, we got to get this guy on here. Now, see right there, Caesar's reading the fuck you in a bucket of goo sign, as you can see. And now you would like the rest of the stick, which I gave you this licking stick, just so you know. But now, since you made an appearance, boy, you're no dummy. He fucking worked me. He got one of these. I think I better crack another half for you. He got one of these off camera, and then he decided to come on camera because he knew this would be very good television. So here we go. This is the finest in television now. This guy here. Uh, so I did this to us when we first got this guy. I mean, he was rough as far as not knowing how to be around people and stuff. It was a trick to get from room to room. So Mrs. Comic and I lure him with these licking sticks. We don't give him a whole one, just a couple of dabs this way and that. Now he's good and he knows what's going on, how to deal with people. And he had a visitor this past week and he was great. But he says that shouldn't eliminate him from getting licking sticks. That's part of the training, right? There's that. I hate to chase you away, but see, if I don't give you the rest of this on the floor, all hell's gonna break loose. Now, the other problem that I have now is that now I have a licking stick goo on my fingers, which really only affects all my stuff. And I will be touching all my stuff, and all my stuff will have cat licking stick goo on it. Mrs. Comic got into the wine a little bit early, as you could hear a crash right there. And blessings to her, because she's actually going to get me something to wipe my hands off with, but she didn't factor in having a teeny little bit of wine this early in the day. And so we're wishing her good luck in bringing me something to wipe my hands with. I don't know what was involved with the crash, but we are off to another barn burner of a live stream show. I will tell you that. This is some crazy. I guess they're coming back. So let's see here. I know there's lots of news, but there's not really any news. And so, oh, here we go. This is a bigger child to wipe my hands with than I'm used to. So that's not really a complaint. I mean, for crying out loud. Let's see here. Richter says he can't be interactive. I can read this sometimes, interactive in the chat, but he's listening. All right, Richter, so we won't hold you accountable. And it's really, sometimes it's better because, Richter, you trick me into doing shit sometimes I don't want to do, like drinking more than I should and streaming longer than I also should. So shout out to Richter, and that could be a trick though. You can't trust Richter that much. I love him, but you can't trust him that much. That could be a trick for him to say he can't interact in the chat, and then I lower my guard, and then he comes in with a zinger. So there's to Richter, who is inactive in the chat. Mrs. Comic recovering from the crash. Here we go, toast. There's that. I wish I would have put up one more picture because, okay, so it's back to Caesar. When he wants to play, he doesn't really give you much of a choice. And we have a couch we've only had it a few months now. And for reasons I can't tell you, he fucking loves this couch. And he hides under it. He goes on top of it. He sits on my seat while I'm not home. But when he wants to play, he's very quiet for a big cat. And he'll sneak around the back, and I'll just be relaxing with the bourbon ball, and his paw claw will come up and scare the fuck out of me. And then I got like 3 seconds to get the game going. And similar shit like that happens over here. So this could be an exciting night. Let's see. I think that's all we got in the way of video. We gotta look at this Rico slide again. That cat is nuts. It's incredible that it needs to be on a diet, because when he had it, it weighed about 8 pounds. Pow. So there's that. And so let me tell you some Irish stories here from when we went to Ireland, because our cats are directly tied into Ireland. Our grown-up nephew and his wife are cat savers, and they got married in Ireland. She's family over, so we had a trip of a lifetime. And my buddy Stein, who's sometimes in the chat here, they donate cat food to Bearcat and opossums and skunks, whoever. So we got caught up on some Ireland stories. I don't know if he's listening tonight, but we were having so much fun, me telling just one person Ireland story. So I thought, fuck it, since I'm not prepared here, we'll wing that right now, and it's kind of almost the time of the year when we went to Ireland. So what you have to know about us going to Ireland is that above and beyond going to Canada before you needed a passport, I never really left the country at all. That was it. So just the process of getting a passport was going to fucking bankrupt me because it's shitty money over the summer. And the whole process of doing that, it was really a big fucking pain in the ass. And Mrs. Comic, who orchestrated all the things that we had to do, she got twanged because her birth certificate did not have her parents' name on it. So that's kind of fucking stupid. I don't know how they could do that, but if you need to get a passport and your birth certificate doesn't have your parents' names on it, you will have to sort that out before you get a passport. And if you mail it in or do it online, it takes 187,000 weeks, or you can drive to Scranton. There's not really many reasons to go to Scranton, but for 10, 15 bucks, you take that up there and you pay them and they just fucking print out a new one. So that's what we did. We started our Ireland excitement by going to Scranton to get Mrs. Comic's birth certificate squared away. So it was an incredible trip. We really loved Ireland. We absolutely loved it. I would live there, or at least visit. If I got millions of bucks, I'd get myself a vacation home in Ireland where we stayed. Uh, Everybody goes to Dublin. Dublin's like the fun New York City of Ireland, but um, we stayed about an hour south of Dublin, maybe half hour. I can't really remember. But we were out in the fucking middle of awesome nowhere, rolling hills and teeny tiny small roads. And if you're familiar with the show Vikings, um, it's really got a medieval look to it. There's mountains and there's tombstones and all that shit. That's the neighborhood we were. It's absolutely fucking incredible. Um, we also, again, I say we, Mrs. Comic did so much research before we went on the trip that you don't need to go to the touristy stands over there. You just ask someone in Ireland. They're really nice. They're really proud, and that's when we travel out. You want to go places where the people who live there go, not where the fucking travel brochure tells you to go. So we rocked the shit out of that. A couple, three, four times we actually asked people for some help over there. I landed in Ireland and my luggage took an extended vacation. So my luggage went to Scotland, Norway, Finland. I have receipts for all the fucking places it went. So my family stepped up big time, and so this flips back to a wonderful Bearman story. So Bearman and Keith were not just show business friends; they were really actually good friends of mine, and they had far more travel experience than I did. So like 2 weeks before the Ireland trip, I was over there, and we complained about shit off the air. I was actually really quite stressed out. The amount I didn't have a major credit card, so if you travel without a credit card, fuck you in a bucket of goo. I had limited funds, and then that became euros, whatever, how the fuck you say it. And we were off there. I said, I'm actually really concerned that I'm going to run out of money on a trip with my wife and our grown-up daughter and her partner along. And it was a family thing, but that's it. When you're in Ireland for a week, vacation slash family wedding, you can't really run out of money. It's not really an option. When you run out of money now, you just fucking stay home. So I was really stressed out about this, and I wasn't trying to get money from them. But Bearman said, okay, Raymond, listen to me. You're traveling with family, right? Very close family. Yes, I am. So if anything goes wrong, you will become their burden. And that would upset a lot of people, but that actually relaxed my nerves a little bit. And it became true right when we fucking landed because my luggage was on tour. I had black pants and a purple shirt, and they are featured in the first 2 days of the Irish vacation, running around. Everybody's got on their different outfits and shit. They're not me. Uh, I've got the same outfit. It seemed like doesn't he ever fucking change his clothes? So that was fun stuff. And then I had purchased for $13 a windbreaker because it rains a lot over there. That's the whole thing. You get yourself a windbreaker. Didn't pack it, didn't bring it. It wasn't even on tour. It was fucking home here. So the windbreaker that I bought for Ireland didn't go on tour, but it didn't come over there either. So now with the family, nephew and his wife to be, had some events for all of us to get to know each other. One such event was hiking around the tombstones and the mountainside and the lake where they film Vikings. It just was fucking beautiful, incredible. But while we were getting there, we had to wait for people. We got pounded with a little bit of rain, and then my nephew, he went into the place that, you know, you have to pay to to walk around there, or who knows what. And I don't even think you had to pay. It was like an information center, is what it was. So he asked if we could come in as a group of like 20 people, and they're like, "Well, why?" And well, it's raining again. And they're like, "Yeah, well, why do you need to come in?" Well, it's raining, and they're, "Yeah, we don't. It's Ireland. It rains all the time. We don't really come in from the rain here. So it's one of those things you just kind of have to suck it up, bitch." And they didn't say that, but there was a polite version of that. So enter Mrs. Comic, who is always prepared. And if you travel with Mrs. Comic, it's a running joke. If you need anything, it's probably in her purse. We were having a picnic many years ago in this town, and my brother-in-law were giggling with rum and colas and getting a little bit hammered, and he said he heard the grass giggling, and then I heard it. If he wouldn't have said it, I wouldn't have heard it. Then he noticed something up in the sky, and he said, "It's a shame somebody doesn't have a star chart." Mrs. Comic had a star chart in her fucking purse at the picnic, whipped it out, so she comes prepared. She happened to have a second raincoat, but it was a second raincoat for her. So running around the first day of pictures, I am featured in my black pants and my purple shirt and a lady's raincoat, which I rolled the sleeves up to make it look cool. That's what I said, but I didn't roll them up because they only came down to there. So, and I know this because I just tried it on again the other day because I think I was out in the rain and I couldn't find my raincoat that I bought for Ireland that I left here that didn't go on the big tour. I couldn't, I wouldn't wear it around the town I live. I don't know what the fuck made me think I could wear it around Ireland there. So now that leads us to trying to get my luggage. I was a nervous wreck. I was trying to figure out, and you gotta call numbers and all that shit and tell them where you are. So where we were staying was a rustic old schoolhouse in the fucking middle of nowhere on a dirt road where I think you could get a cell phone signal, but there was not really stores around or anything like that. It was fucking out there. So when they were eventually going to find this thing, it wasn't going to be that easy for them to find me. So everybody wants to run around and do stuff. I want to be a dick and hang around and wait to see if my clothing shows up. So I actually wrote a note and pinned it on the door of where we were staying out in the middle of nowhere and said, "If you found my luggage, it's okay to leave it without a signature. I am hiding in the woods because I'm naked and I don't have any clothing." And that actually worked. When we got back, the clothing was there, so then I could go from there. So now we're riding around, and if you've never driven in Ireland, I absolutely loved driving on the wrong side of the road. Make no mistake about that. It took a couple days to get used to, but once I got used to it, that was fucking rock star. So now they have really small roads. By small I mean Pennsylvania. Even in Emmaus here, that would be like four across in Ireland. It's just one fucking lane, and it's really actually small, and they're not forgiving because they have stone walls like right up to where you would like a ride at fucking Dorney Park, bumper cars. So if you're going off the road, you're going to fucking hit something. So now, if a car is coming at you, uh, that's a problem. Just it's that tight of a situation where you couldn't actually go around each other. I didn't find this out until at the wedding reception. There were a bunch of Irish cops there, and I asked them about that, and they said the small car has to back up. I said, so we had the small rental, so we wound up having to be the ones who back up all the time. Now that brings us to the metric system for how fast to drive. Um, I would say on these roads out in the middle of nowhere where there were brick walls on either side and your little teeny car just barely fit in there, I would say 15 to 20 miles an hour would have been plenty. These were like fucking 80 kilometers. I don't even fucking know what that means, but the conversion rate was like 80. So I asked these cops all this shit. I said, so um, when I'm driving on the highway and it's 120 kilometers, and I drive that, I get road raged. And we do that here in this country. We do that in Pennsylvania. We are the road rage masters. What's the thing to drive where I don't get a ticket? I don't want a speeding ticket, but I don't have everybody in Ireland and their brother want to beat the fuck out of me with a whiskey barrel for driving like a dumbass. And they said, whatever's on the sign plus 30. 120 is 150, 150 is 180, 180 is 210, and so forth and so on. And so when I got back here and I did the conversion, I could have done it on my phone there, but I didn't. I just rode around all week long. It turns out that I was riding around Ireland most of the week around 100 miles an hour, which brings us to the other things these cops. I actually really love these Irish police. Were absolutely fucking incredible. Because I asked them about they could really hold their liquor. You know, this was casual conversation. And cops say, we don't get drunk, we get full. So the punchline there was I was riding around Ireland about 100 miles an hour all week long, kind of pretty full. So that was some exciting adventure there. Then the groups after the wedding and the reception, our groups are going to split up and we're going rogue a little bit. So Mrs. Comic and myself and our daughter and her partner, we were going to Galway for a music festival. We got an Airbnb where we met the guy in the alley, and it was fucking amazing. We could just walk. There's musicians everywhere, and it was absolutely an incredible experience. But the timing on how you eat was really fucked up. I think they're like 5 or 6 hours ahead of us, and it doesn't get dark there until about 10 o'clock at night. So when it's 9, 10 o'clock there, and it's still just about starting to get dark, we're thinking it's like 3, 4 in the afternoon. We're not even fucking ready for supper yet, and all that shit fucking closes. So by the time we get hungry, it's dark, and everything's fucking shut down. So that was a teeny tiny little bit of an adjustment. But it was probably the first day we went about, I'm guessing at the time zones here, like maybe did like an hour drive to go to, can't remember the name of the place. Bono lives there. If you want to figure out where we were, Google where Bono lives, the U2 guy. And that was gorgeous because it was like almost like a beach town, but it was a little bay or whatever hell it was. Gorgeous rocks, very artsy town. And we were walking around trying to figure out where to try to get dinner. And again, a lovely couple had a fun argument over where we should go. And he had a place he wanted to go, and she had a place she wanted to go. And Mrs. Comic pointed out that she picked a place that was named after a lady, and he picked a place that was named after a guy. That's neither here nor there. But hours went by, and we happened to be picking the place he picked only because it was fucking right there. And then he drove past us, and he said, I see you made the right choice. So that's the kind of fun we had all fucking week long. That was badass. There were a couple guys that had their dogs off leashes, but they call it off the belt. Toby was off the belt. And the one say, Toby's off the belt. You got to lose that animal's going to run right into the water. And the other guy said, he's a stupid mutt. He'll run right to the water. He's a scared coward. And he'll just turn right around. He'll run right back to the belt. And he did it. And so this was, again, part of our fun vacation. Now, it's in the afternoon. And we had our other daughter, Josie, and her husband, Al, were part of this touring around. So we went into an Irish pub in the same town way too early in the day. Apparently nobody goes to pubs at whatever time this was. So we had a round of Guinness, and then I was going to have to drive us back, and I didn't really want to have a whole nother one. So Mrs. Comic and I split our second Guinness because I had a 2-hour drive to get us back to the schoolhouse. And we were going to, I sip it, and then she'd sip it, and I'd sip it, and she'd sip it. So Mrs. Comic, who doesn't really drink beer that often, I took my sip, and she chugged a Guinness right in front of us. Pow! She fucking slammed it, and we all laughed, and she really did it for the safety of the team, because I had to drive us all back to the little schoolhouse there. So Mrs. Comic chugged a Guinness in Ireland for the safety of all passengers in my vehicle. So that was a lot of fun. And we had them circles that you drive through. I actually really love those. There's a couple of them here in Pennsylvania, but Pennsylvania doesn't fucking know how to drive in a circle. That when you go out from the Allentown area to Kutztown and Reading, you're going to hit a couple of those circles. They're designed to hit them like fast to keep the traffic moving. But when you hit one of these circles in Pennsylvania, it's a real clusterfuck. Everything slows down and people don't know which way they're going. But the excitement there was when you're coming at it really fast in Ireland, and you got to go to the left instead of to the right. That's a teeny tiny little bit of a mind fuck there. So that was a big adventure right there. Also going back to the pub in the sunlight with the Guinness. There was so much sun, I had noticed my Guinness was red, which I didn't have the slightest fucking idea. Guinness was, I don't know if the Guinness we get here is red, but it's brown in the glass, but it's fucking red up to the sunlight. That's important to another story I'll be telling you. So that was a big excitement there, and then we were babbling away there, and there's two guys in the bar, and I guess they must be the local town drunks. I don't know, because we are tourists, but they were just fucking locals hanging out in the bar. One of them said, "Did I detect a Pennsylvania accent?" Holy fuck, I just can't. We went to Ireland to get away from being identified. So this peckerhead grew up in the South here in this country, and he hated having a Southern accent. So he moved to Pennsylvania to fix his Southern accent. I think there's probably other ways, but who am I to question a guy in Ireland at the pub who detected a Pennsylvania accent? So he admitted that he had a Southern accent mashed up with Pennsylvania accent. He'd been living in Ireland for 7 years, and so he didn't have a pure Irish, Pennsylvania, or Southern accent. It was like a fucking mutt of those languages. And now we're heading out of that pub, and I want to say goodbye to that guy. I said, what are the odds that we'd run into someone kind of even who could identify Pennsylvania accent? And another drunken guy who had nothing to do with anything said, "There's always odds." Now, that might not seem like that exciting of a story to you, but that phrase comes around in this family who's been on that trip. There's always odds. We just had the fucking greatest time. I've learned so much about having nice people. There's a lot of nice people around here, but sometimes, man, if you run around in Pennsylvania, you run around Allentown, city, wherever, and you ask someone for help, that's really hit or miss. So my son-in-law, my son Al, was really helpful in grounding me, because I was Mr. One Wardrobe. So we had a phone number I was given to call to see if they found rest my clothing. We were just somewhere, I think we were still in Dublin, and we're trying to figure out what the hell we're going to do. I couldn't make this fucking call to save my life. I've tried 19 fucking times. Fail, fail, fail. Just something wasn't dialing correctly. And then he tried, and I just figured I was just worked up and he'd be able to do it. He couldn't fucking do it. So then I remember Mrs. Comic's advice to ask someone from Ireland. So Peckerhead is walking, and he didn't know that I mean that in a nice way. Plus, I didn't call him Peckerhead. I said, "Excuse me, do you live in this country, or are you from Ireland?" He said, "Yeah." He big smile. Yeah, he was. Saying, "I'm trying to make a phone call, and it says 0+, and I'm okay on the 0, but I can't find the plus on my phone for the fucking life of me." He goes, "It's in the 0." And I don't know how anybody would know that, but so I've said, okay, so then it's 0, 0. He said, nope, it's 0+. So that got sorted out, which beams us back to my amazing family trying to chill me out and went back to the cottage. He said, don't worry about only having one set of clothing. Um, there's washer and dryer here, so we'll just bippity bobbity boo, and you'll be ready to go. So, well, that's all well and good, but is there all like a naked closet for me to hide in while we're doing the fucking laundry? And there should be, if we're gonna do that, I would like to have some sort of entertainment in there, phone to play games on or something. And there should probably also be something on the door to warn people that there is a naked Amish comedian in this closet waiting for laundry. So that whole thing got to be an exciting start of our trip. Um, it was just absolutely phenomenal. So then again, um, this wedding reception, the wedding and the reception, it's really hard to beat that wedding, and I'll tell you for why. When you go to a wedding, no matter how close you are to the people that are getting married, you get to the point where you want to get through the wedding because you want a beer and food. That's what you want. So we were greeted in the Stonehenge and the rocks and the mountains where the rustic wedding. We were greeted there with beers and cookies, and all you fucking wanted. So the idea was you would have a beer and a cookie and take it into the actual wedding ceremony, and everybody had them, and there was places to put the empty bottles. I'm like, holy fuck! Why didn't anybody else think of that? Hip hip hooray for Ireland, who said, when people are at weddings, they'd be more responsive to absorbing the actual ceremony, saying, let's fucking wrap this up so we can get some food, if they had a beer and a cookie. And what you should know about me is a beer and a cookie would be my choices. Of if I've got survival food, bourbon is great, but if they're saying, hey, you can have a drink and a food, beer and a cookie, that's the way to go. Which flips me back to another story, and someone's gonna have Mrs. Comic gonna have to beam me back into Ireland, because that reminded me of another story. When I used to work out like a motherfucker, I was ripped to the nines, and I was also a smart mouthy asshole. And I've had two big killers that were fans that actually trained me. And I didn't want to, but we had leg day, and we had fucking chest day and arm day and all this horse shit. They got me to the point where I could bench press like 300 pounds, and I could hardly raise the bar when I just fucking started. So the fuck was I? This had some. Oh, I know what it was. So I was a lean, mean, fucking muscle machine, and then when you work out, if you decide to fix your diet, which I did, I cut out sugars. I didn't eliminate them, but I cut them out, and deep fried foods, and I was fucking ripped to the fucking nines. I'm telling you that. I would have been an Amish calendar, centerfold calendar, and if Peckerhead asked me, he said, "You really, you fucking, I'm not hitting on you, dude. You are fucking chiseled, the legs and fucking arms. Do you eat any special food?" I said, "I live on a strict diet of beer and donuts." And there's no planet where I thought he believed that. How could that not be a joke? A month later, he was looking kind of heavy and he was mad. He goes, "Hey, you fucking beer and donuts diet ain't worth fucking shit. I put on fucking 12 pounds on your stupid fucking." So apparently I fatted somebody up because they were too stupid to know that was a fucking joke. Now, back to Ireland. So, I had so much fun talking to the cops, and there was one of the groups that Mrs. Comic and I were not going to be in. They were going to be going to the, is it the Dying Cow? Is that it? Yeah. The Dying Cow is one of those sneaky clubs that you would see in movies. It's regular bar by day, and then when they close at 2 o'clock in the morning, they lock everybody in. If you want to get out, you can get out, but they lock you in. It's mildly illegal. So it's like an after hours drinking bar, the Dying Cow. And then I was talking to the cops about that, and people who were going to the Dying Cow were really fucking mad. They're pulling me aside and going, "Why are you telling the cops about the Dying Cow?" And the cops laugh. They go, "We know all about the Dying Cow. Where the fuck do you think the cops drink after we're done with our shifts? We can't walk in there with our uniforms on, so we park our cars down the road, and we have a change of clothes in the trunk. We leave the cop cars in the woods. We put on our regular clothes. Of course we know about the Dying Cow, you fucking tourists." So this was, the whole week was just absolutely fucking incredible. Day after day, story after story. They're so proud of their country, and they're proud of Guinness, and it just was such an amazing experience. Now we go over to the wedding reception, which had an open bar, which apparently is fucking insane to do in Ireland. It's unheard of because it's cliche, but they're gonna fucking drink you and just fucking pour for them. I didn't bankroll this thing, but open bar. There was quite a lot of people there. There were people actually texting and calling people that didn't come, that were gonna come, that from, "You gotta come, this open bar." It was fucking unheard of. So I went over and I started with a Guinness, and the guy was really nice, but he was going to teach me that Guinness was red, which I already knew because I'm a dick. I should have just let him say it. He said, "That Guinness in your glass there, you think it's brown, but it's not." "No, I think it's brown, but I know it's red." And then he laughed. "How do you know it's red?" "Well, I was in a pub on day one at the fella who recognized my accent from being from Pennsylvania, and it was the middle of the day, and the sun was cutting through the window, and it cut right through my Guinness, and I could see it was red." He said, "Never hold your Guinness up to the light. The Guinness hates the sunlight." I didn't realize that I had offended my beer. So that was fucking weird right there. Now, we have my brother-in-law, father of the groom, who was, at the time, his drink was vodka and cranberry, and he was pretty well into them. But by the time it was late at night now, well, they had a second meal. You know, when you're at a reception, you get all fucked up, and you think, "Maybe I should have had some food. I've been drinking." They fucking Ireland, they had a 10 o'clock at night meal just to kind of buffer everybody's, so they wouldn't be too fucked up. So that meal came out, and by then I went over to the bar and I was going to get some drinks for my wife and anybody else in our group. So our daughter decided she would like a vodka and cranberry. So I went over there and I got myself a Guinness, and I got a vodka and cranberry. It had been known that my brother-in-law was father of the groom, and they were making him special vodka and cranberries with this much vodka and just a drizzle of cranberry just for food coloring. So that bartender assumed that I was getting a drink for my brother-in-law, not knowing I was getting it for our grown-up daughter, who really doesn't drink a lot. She didn't have a great tolerance, and so when she sipped that, her fucking eyes shot right out of her head. So that was also part of the excitement there. There was crazy cousins. They looked like twins. They must have been 19, 20 years old. Craziest fucking dancers I've ever seen in my life. So I tried to match them. I tried to one up the dancers. I'm trying to bust a move. The old Amish have been trying to bust a move with 20-year-old drunken Irish cousins that looked like fucking twins, and we connected. We had so much fun, and out of nowhere, I told the guy, I put my finger up at this. We finished the dance, and I said, I was gonna tell him, you guys are the greatest dancers I've ever seen in my life. And but they fucking cut me off and said, before you say it, it's not me, it's you. You're the greatest fucking dancer we've ever seen. You're the greatest fucking dancer. It's not me, it's you. How about that? That's how the whole week went. The whole fucking week went like that. Just absolutely incredible. Um, in Galway, that was fun. It was our daughter found out it was an arts music festival. Oh, that's even more fun. So we were trying to plan this trip, and if you're going to Ireland, everything we found out was figure out what you want to do and then dial it back, because everything's going to be so amazing. You wish you could stay longer at the spot where you were. So we were actually going to do like a Game of Thrones tour, walking tour, but that was actually Northern Ireland is actually a different country, so we didn't want to change the money out and all that shit. So when the group split, and Galway's on the other side of the country, so there we are. There's Dublin. There's down there, the Glendalough, Wicklow, County Wicklow, County Wicklow. So we were going to do a bus tour to go see the Cliffs of Moher. Is that how you say it? Cliffs of Moher. Fucking incredible. They're absolutely. If you go there, you have to see the cliffs. But I don't like being taken places. I like to drive wherever the fuck we're going. So our daughter's trying to orchestrate this thing, making a trip easy on me. I'm Googling the miles and stuff on there. That's fucking to go from where we were to Galway to where the cliffs were. That's shorter than from here driving to Pittsburgh. So we decided to drive it. So I'm so excited. Driving across fucking whole country of Ireland was fucking badass, rock star. And again, I'm glad I talked to the cops. Before, that's what brought up the speed limit thing, because I said we're driving to Galway tomorrow. It'd probably take like 4 hours. They mocked me there. So they had me down to like 2.5 hours to make that trip to Galway. Absolutely incredible. Caesar's thinking of coming up. Are you thinking of coming up for another licking stick? He's really looking at me. I would really appreciate if you would come up here. Would you come up here? Because I'm really babbling away now. My timer from my show ending went off. Oh, here's that. There you go. And it's proper that you put your ass at the fans. I mean, you're not really into show businesses, so it's mildly disrespectful, but he doesn't mean anything by it. Then we're going to sneak in a burp again. All right, so there's that. All right, so now there might be more Ireland stories. I don't really know. Oh, I know what helped. I had Mrs. Comic had one on. It would be a better story if I had the shirt. We love Iggy Pop. We saw Iggy Pop post Pop Depression tour, and we have the most awesome Iggy Pop shirts. It's his head takes up the whole front of the shirt, and he's distraught. And it doesn't say Iggy Pop or anything. It just looks like a crazy fucking punker who's just having possibly a rough day. And we were a little nervous about going through customs just because we don't know what the fuck they're going to find. We didn't have anything to find, but what the fuck do we do? We don't really know anything. I forgot I had this shirt on, and I was getting my groove on to go through customs where you want to talk like a more normal version of me. And the customs guy looked at my shirt. I didn't know he was looking at my shirt. He goes, "That's a nasty looking bloke, isn't it?" I fucking thought he meant me. I'm like, what the fuck did I do? I was trying to smile. Well, I'm trying to smile, and I'm called a nasty looking bloke. I can't think of a better place to end my live stream show. That is the tribute show for Ireland. thanks for tuning in. And again, I'm kind of proud now because even though we didn't do Tuesday, this is 2 weeks in a row now that we got a live stream going on here. Thanks for tuning in. Don't be a dick to anybody. Enjoy your lives. Find fun shit. If you're mad all fucking week long, you are doing the wrong shit. And we love you. Mrs. Comic says hello. And be safe. And I'm not going to promise that I'm going to stream next week because that would put the fucking curse on it right there. Okay? So I'm going to do this. I will leave you with the Rico slide right there. And ready to come up on my lap for another licking stick. You guys rock. And have a great week.